Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, September 7th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me to cover the ANW10 Vegas Finals Week 2 is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man. It's crazy. It doesn't feel like it's the end of the season already. Like, this season's flown by.
It felt like it took forever to get here, and now I agree with you. I don't know why it is. It does feel like it. No, I don't want it to be over. It's like I think it's because Vegas goes by fast.
Yeah.
You know, last week was the first episode of Vegas. Next week's the last episode. Like, we're right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. It's a huge build up to, you know, like a short crescendo. But hey, I mean, it works out. There's so much stakes on the line. I like the fact that now it's no longer just, of course, the big thing is the course itself. But there's like a lot of these subplots also, and these small little storylines that we're going to get into later. I really like that. Yeah,
it was pretty good. It was a good episode overall. Way more ninjas than I thought we had left in the bag. A lot more people I was excited to see than I thought was left. So it was good from that perspective.
Yeah, it's weird because like it felt like last week everybody was failing at the Double Dipper, right? It was just like, no,
yeah.
Like all of our favorites. But there was so many more ninjas. It goes back to what I was talking about, where there are so many named ninjas at this point that we're so accustomed to. And really props to the producers and everybody behind the show, because they've really built up a lot of these ninjas. Good on them.
Yeah, it's a deep field for sure. And actually, one thing I found out, and I thought was going to play into the whole episode that you may not have noticed, Tiana Weberly actually injured her knee. So ANW Nation had an article about her not continuing on into Vegas, and Janique Levitt was actually in Vegas and got to run, but we didn't get to see how she did. I thought maybe she was going to do well, and we get to see it, but unfortunately not.
Yeah, I saw the article with Tiana hurting herself. I mean, that really sucks. I've met Tiana before, really like amazing athlete, amazing woman, and I wish her, you know, a very speedy recovery. I was very psyched to see Janique getting a second chance, you know, but do we have any, well, now I think about it, I mean, no women, you know, past stage one, so obviously she didn't make it through. And also, you know, I don't know who replaced Jessie Graff. Do you have any idea of, like, which woman took her spot?
No, I don't. Now that you say that, I don't know who that would have been.
Well, we can look at that later, but yeah, obviously her replacement obviously didn't make it also. That said, I mean, props to all the women, whether, you know, they made it or not. They went really far in the field in terms of athletic, amazing women, just keeps growing. So it's only a matter of time until we see multiple women making it to stage 2.
Oh, I have to, before we get into this, I'm going to insert my own shame bell here. Here's a big shame bell for you.
Here we go.
Shame.
Why
Shame.
would ANW Podcast, the official podcast, spoil Meagan Martin's run for me? I was so mad that happened.
What happened?
They, at the end of the episode, completely, and I'm always nervous listening to any podcast where people know the results, because we've had some slip-ups by other podcasts in the past. I won't call them out right now, but there's always something, and I read too much into everything, so there's little details I'll listen for and catch. This wasn't a little detail. At the end of their podcast, they said, well, you know, we unfortunately Meagan Martin fell this week, but we'll see how Jessie Lebrecht does next week. And I went, no, we won't. You got those backwards.
So it sounds like it was basically a mix-up in terms of like editing. Maybe Meagan Martin was supposed to run, you know, last week, and you know, maybe it sounds like it was one of those slip-ups. I mean, that sucks, man. From what I understand, though, they released Meagan Martin's run earlier this week, right?
I have no idea. I avoid all that stuff.
I do too. So that's where it's like, I feel like I've seen it online somewhere, but I could be obviously wrong, and maybe it was another woman's run. That said, I mean, I don't know. It sucks, but it's one of those things where I can't really blame them.
Oh, no, I'm sure they were given, you know, they were told what was known and what wasn't. They didn't see the episode at the time they recorded, probably. Who knows? I don't know where it fell down, but shame. Big shame. I hate spoilers more than anything.
You got to get a bell, bro.
Yes.
I can't shame them for mine.
I got a virtual bell.
Fair.
I got a virtual bell, and it's going to ring hard. But let's get into the episode here. We have the same course. So we're not going to go through it all again. We can get right into the runs. First to take the course, Alex Carson, Baker, and Bad Brass Ninja with his big tuba named Wanda. In a very strange start to the episode.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I'm just like, this is dumb, this is goofy, but it was short-lived.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we needed it, but hey, it's whatever. I'm not going to complain too much.
Right. It was setting a weird tone for the episode, but he was looking good. Seemed to be going a little slow by a jumping spider. And it looked like he hurt his legs coming off a Jeep run. He ended up timing out in the twist and fly, just kind of ran out of steam.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We had a few instances where people were getting slipped up with their legs. It's one of those, like, this course, you are landing a lot on your legs in a weird, awkward positions. I'm very curious to, like, kind of feel like nobody's having, like, serious injuries, but I'm curious, like, how many people are kind of, like, twisting up their ankles or their knees or, being, like, kind of like mild sprains.
I think Travis Rosen would argue against that whole we're not having serious injuries comment, but...
Well, I'm not saying nobody's having them, but, like, the number is usually, like, 1 or 2. It's not, like, 10 people are, like, severely hurting themselves, right?
Yeah,
but I have a feeling there's, like, a good amount of people that are, like, slightly hurting themselves.
This one seems to be a little rough on everybody, yeah, for sure. And how excited were you to see our next competitor, Booty Cothran, the Booty Bandwagon?
Yes! Oh, man, I was so excited. This is his first time in Vegas, man, and this dude is dope. It's weird. When it comes to Booty, he's so small and kind of looks fragile, right? But the guy always finds a way. Like, he's got crazy next-level grip strength. Probably because he weighs, like, a pound. But still, like, it's crazy, man. I was very excited. I had absolutely no idea how well he'd do. But, like, what were your thoughts?
Exactly. It was the same thing. It was, like, super excited for him. He's so charismatic, so fun to watch. You have no idea how well he's going to do. He's 49 years old, the oldest competitor there. And, he had a near miss on the archer steps, barely caught the propeller, and ended up missing the transition on the double dipper. But I got to tell you, I could have seen him going all the way, and I could have seen him fall in the first obstacle. I had no idea where his skill set was going to be at on that one.
He's a big question mark, man. But as you said, ultra charismatic, fun guy. Like, it's rare where you see people that, I wouldn't say smaller, like, just the body type, right? Just his body type. And yet, own it. Like, own it 100%. Being like, yeah, look at me. I am bony as all heck. I am tiny, a tiny, tiny man. But guess what? I'm dope as well. And watch me flaunt my stuff. I am 100% fabulous. I love it.
After that, we got a confirmation, official confirmation, finally, right from the woman herself. Jessie Graff will be a stunt woman on Wonder Woman 1984. So excited to have that official. It's out there. We know exactly what it was. No more, secret messages from Matt on Twitter and everything else. We know exactly what it is. And so happy she's get that opportunity. You can see that she was pained that she didn't get to do it to come run in Vegas. But,
dude,
she'll
she
be back
almost
next
teared
year.
up in the video. Props. Like, she's showing a lot of heart there. I'm sure it was very bittersweet for her. But it's her dream. Follow your dreams, man. I can't. Anybody that wants to criticize her for this, like, shame on you, that's a shame bell, whatever. But I'm psyched for her. So dope. Like, Wonder Woman, I have to imagine she's, like, living her dreams out right now. I mean, I kind of feel like most people knew what she was doing, right? Like,
yeah, it was like the worst kept secret ever.
Yeah, it's like we all know what she was doing. But I'm very happy that she was actually able to, film that. And hey, we'll see her next year. And maybe she won't be able to run again because she's moving on to, bigger things in Hollywood. And hey, I can't be mad at her for that either. All the respect in the world, and I'm very happy for her success. Go, Jessie.
It's kind of funny when you think about it that she couldn't run the course, at least, maybe it's scheduling, maybe it's something else, but in part, the reason she wouldn't be able to do it, presumably, is the risk of injury. She's a stunt woman. who needs to be careful about getting injured, because that's, where it's just funny that normally she steps in to help other people avoid injury. In this case, she's got to step aside herself.
Hey, when you're talking about multi-million dollars, like, they don't have time to gamble with that,
Yeah. But another strong woman took the course after that. Abby Clark, who has done phenomenal this season. She was the only finisher in the Minneapolis qualifier, beating out Meagan Martin in the qualifying round. She took 2 extra swings on Archer Alley. Was not looking like a good start. She caught the propeller by her fingertips.
Yeah. That's a common trait that we've seen this season. It's a lot of close calls on that thing.
Yeah, but the grip strength to do that. How many did we see that just barely caught it, but still held on? It was really amazing that she was able to do that. Made a couple extra spins around, but did get off of there. Missed the transition on the double dipper as many did.
Yeah. What did they say by the end of the night? A third of the people fell at the double dipper. That is an insane stat.
Yeah, definitely a top contender for Ninja Killer of the Year, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is 100%. It'll be very unfortunate if something beats it. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Next to take the course was Kevin Bull. I was very happy watching him go. He's looking really solid. He was slipping a bit on the jumping spider. His time was looking okay. I'm not sure why they were going on about his time at that point. I'm like, well, his time seems okay to me. I don't think there's any reason to worry about it. He had all the time in the world, but he ended up missing the transition to the cargo net and fell. I thought he had it. There was no question in my mind he was moving on to stage 2.
Yeah. I hate it. The things that are just the worst for me are when people fail at the cargo net of all things, or just time out at the top of the cargo net. There is nothing it sucks, man. I don't know what to say, man. He was there. He proved that he can beat stage 1. It's just one of those things where sometimes people slip up at the finish line,
Yeah, it happens. It's happened to a lot of good ninjas the last couple seasons, actually.
Yeah. But man, once again, I love those kids. I love everything that he does. So go Kevin Bull.
Yeah. We had some fast forwards next. We had Judas Licchio. This guy's last name. Licchiadero. Fell on the propeller bar. Abel Gonzalez, unfortunately, went on the double dipper. And Mike Wright, the Speedo Ninja, went out on the jumping spider.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, we'll just leave that.
Go ahead.
Let's keep moving. Brian Kretsch. Brian Kretsch gets some love here. He gets a segment.
This is the ultimate armchair ninja podcast episode when it comes to video stunts or whatever. I was thoroughly surprised. Yeah, I don't know. People are listening or something. I don't know. This was dope. I'm all about it. I mean, it's, of all things, he must not have much of a story if they're talking about his face. But hey, I'll take it. It's you want to do a resting crutch face? If that's a thing, let's make it a thing. Why not?
It's hilarious. I love it because you take something that could be a total negative. You feel like they're sitting around we need to do a segment on Brian. It's been a couple years, really owe him. It's well, I don't know. He's just not expressive enough. Well, let's use that. Let's just make the story about that. Resting crutch face. I loved it. He ended up falling on the propeller bar, transferred to the rope. I really thought he was going deep. They gave him a segment. I'm like, oh, Brian must kill it. He must have done really well. And no, he had a terrible fall pretty early on in the stage 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's of all the seasons, this was the one, right? Build him up just to fail. But hey, sometimes we need those surprises. And I'm very happy that he got shown love. And hey, I don't know. We're going to see him again, and we're going to see him do well again. It's Brian Kretsch. He's always awesome.
Yeah. After him, we had Lucas Reale, 19, whose father committed suicide 3 years ago. His run, he was going really well. He had a good time going. He's a few weeks younger than the kid, so they're kind of hyping him up to be the youngest to ever hit the buzzer. And he did do it. He managed to do it. And his mouth is bleeding at the end. Is it just me, or did he have I don't know, if he hit his face or something?
I was wondering it too. I'm is it something where he's missing a tooth and it's just showing gums, or is he bleeding? I mean, it's one of those things where it wasn't drastically bad or anything, but yeah, I definitely noticed that also. Something like off with his mouth. I kind of felt like he was going to make it just because they're kind of hyping him up. It wasn't even close to the same level as the kid, right? Not even in the same universe. But they were hyping him up, and I was like, oh, this guy's going to be the youngest ever. Interesting and everything. I don't know. It sucks that he's going to be known for a storyline of his father. I mean, I don't think he wants to. This is the year to talk about it. I just really hope, like, the next 2 years, they don't call back to, like, oh, yeah, this is the time of the year where your father committed suicide, right? Like, nobody wants that. That's it. I don't necessarily think that's going to be what he's known for. And I look forward to this guy. I mean, he's a big question mark. I just don't know enough about him, right?
Yeah. Hopefully he can do Grant McCartney did a good job of shifting the storyline for himself. Hopefully he can take a page out of his book.
Yeah, very good point.
After him, we had some more fast forwards. Anna Shoemaker went out on Archer Alley, unfortunately. Anna's fantastic. We've seen her do incredibly well, especially on Team Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
James Bartholomew, in a suit, does one of the most cringy, like, wincy, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here. Dude looked like he broke his back on the propeller bar.
That was nasty, right? Like, we've seen this before, but it's always just nasty to see it. It's like, even if they don't break anything, good as heck well, they are not going to be feeling well for the next week or so.
No, not at all. And Kirsten Williams also got fast forwarded and went out on the double dipper. They said he never finished stage 1 before. I find that hard to believe.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I would have 100% guessed he's like made it far. Like not stage 3, but at least stage 2, right? Like
yeah.
Carson, he's very athletic, but the big thing about him, if Ninja versus Ninja, he's fast. He's like really, really fast. I feel like stage 1 fits him perfectly. That's really surprising, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But when we came back, one of your favorites, it was kind of tailor-made to us, wasn't it? Eric Middleton, the Bug Ninja.
Oh, yes. Dude, I love this.
All right, I'll give you the floor in this one. Like, Eric, I don't know if I can even talk about this run. So
it's just so dope, man. Like, for real. They hype it up. They're talking about, they lay out the stakes. No longer is it just like American Ninja Warrior, this guy versus the course, but there's a bunch of different dynamics. Now it's the host, right? They have like stakes in the run because if he makes it, they have to eat a freaking scorpion. It's like a gummied scorpion and stuff.
Yeah,
and it looks tasty as all heck, honestly. And I am like, yeah, this is not that bad, but they're all freaking out. And I don't know. I love the dynamics of his runs because he is literally the only American Ninja Warrior I can think of where the hosts are actively rooting against him. Every time he gets through an obstacle, they're like, no! And I don't know. Did you hear that part, Rich, where, like, what is it? Like, Akbar, I think he's going through the spider, like, the jumping spider, and he's like, oh, no, this isn't looking good. And I'm like, oh, man, is this guy, like, is he running out of time or something? And he completes it, and Akbar's like, oh, no, it's really not looking good. He looks like he might finish. And I'm like, I was like, oh, crap, you got me there, bro.
Yeah, it's weird, too. In addition to the bug thing, the one notable thing is he kept checking his watch. Like, I've never seen anyone run with a watch and keep glancing at it as they go. And you would think more of them would, really.
Yeah, I was surprised because every once in a while, it's kind of like there's something so obvious, right, that you never thought of. And as soon as it's put in front of you, you're like, I am the dumbest person in the world. How did I not think of this?
Right.
This is 100% brilliant and common sense. And same thing with that. It's like, I've never thought about it. But as soon as I saw him do a watch, I am like, oh my God, that is the most amazingly, like, brilliant thing ever. And it's so simple. How has nobody done this, right? It's like, they're not actively being like, oh, you can't bring a watch on the course. You can. So it's like, good on this guy, man. Good, like, it's one of those things, and they even said it, like, he's always thinking. He's always one step ahead. And good for him. I like these dynamics. There was so much involved with this run. I don't know. He made it all the way through. they ate the scorpion. Like, I feel like Matt was all in, and Akbar, he bit that scorpion and noped out immediately, bro.
Yeah, I don't even think Matt was too pleased about the whole thing this time around. I guess it didn't taste very good, but Akbar ended up spitting his out. It was, yeah.
It was like 1 crunch, 2 crunch, out. It was done.
No.
So all right, let's stop and let's think about this, bro. Would you eat a scorpion?
No. If I committed to it in the way that they had, yes, I would. I would stand by my word in a bet situation, but I am not going to volunteer to do that. No.
You're not going to volunteer?
No.
Well, okay, so out of all the bugs that you've seen,
when it comes to eating, I'm not that picky. I mean, obviously, but when it comes to like bugs and stuff, not exactly excited about trying something like that.
I don't know, man. It's not that bad. Like, honestly, scorpion is much more texture than taste. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to see me eat a scorpion, because I have eaten scorpion, check out my Instagram. It's on there. It's a little months back, but, I definitely have eaten a scorpion before. That said, I mean, it's not much flavor. It's all texture. It's like a very, very, very crunchy chip. It's just legs and spines and skin and a bunch of flaky parts. Like, that's all it is. There's no flavor, really. What bug would you eat?
What bug would I eat?
Yeah, man, you gotta commit. You're Akbar or Matt. Which one of the bugs that you've seen from this dude would you put in your mouth?
Dude, I don't know. He goes too much for me. Like, I'd maybe try chocolate covered ants or something, but I don't know.
Chocolate covered ants, really?
Yeah,
that's where you go. The smallest like insect,
just the tiniest thing, and as much chocolate and caramel or what. I dip it in it's something, coat it, deep fry it. I don't care.
Shame on you. At least eat like a cricket or something, bro.
Why? Why though? We have like
they're full
so
of
many
like
delicious
protein and
fruit
like
and
nutrients
and animals that don't crawl like that.
Do it for the gram.
Oh, God, I'll let you do that. You got the bug eating portion of Instagram covered for us.
For real though, I do. All right, moving on.
Moving on. We had Lance Picus take the course, whose wife Heather was there to cheer him on this time, which was great. But he fell in the propeller bar. Like, they are shocking me over and over again. Like, I don't know why I'm still shocked anymore, but they got me again. I thought Lance was going really far this year.
It doesn't shock me that they don't make stage 1, because I really like the fact that this stage 1, almost every obstacle is taking out ninjas, right? Other than the balance obstacle, which I'm really cool with, to be honest with you. I mean, every single obstacle, there's always that chance that they can fail. And I do really like that. That said, I'm more shocked at where he fell. I feel like he would have fallen more on the double dipper or somewhere far back than that. The fact that he fell in the propeller bar was more of a shock.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would have been less surprised if he had timed out or, like you said, somewhere maybe a little further in. The propeller bar, I really didn't see coming.
Yeah.
But next to take the course, one of my all-time favorite ninjas, Barclay Stockett, who is now traveling the world, went to Alaska, as ninjas now do. What was that?
Yeah, sorry, she's just living the life. Like, I was watching that, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like,
well, that's the thing. What's funny is the whole trip with Nick Hansen, I still remember back to Twitter. So I talked to her, I tweeted with her back and forth a little bit to see if she wanted to come on the podcast. And she said she couldn't. She was going to Alaska. And I stopped myself from asking her, oh, are you going to visit Nick Hansen? I was like, oh, she's got 100 things to do in her life. Not everything's ninja. I'm not going to ask that stupid question. And that's exactly where she was going and what she was doing.
Yeah, for real. That was pretty awesome. Now, I got to say, when watching it, I started being like, is it time to ship some people? Because they're like all like hugging and everything. And I was like, oh, this is so cute. And then they're like going through everything, like showing all these like travels that they're doing. And it was so adorable. And then afterwards, I think back and I'm like, wait, Nick Hansen has a girlfriend, like a long-term girlfriend. Well, I was like,
so much for that
isn't that.
Yeah.
No, they're just friends. And I'm saying, like, people can be friends of the opposite sex. I'm not saying, like, everybody has to be shipped off, but I was just, for a good, like, I don't know, minute of my life, I was envisioning the world of a Nick Hansen and Barclay Stockett, power couple. And it was just hearts and fluttering and everything. And I was like, oh, this is so cute.
We didn't We didn't get that yet. But yeah, she she took the course, and looking ahead through the course, all I could think was every single obstacle in this thing is not meant for her height at all. Like Archer Alley, extremely height dependent. Propeller bar, very height dependent. Double dipper, jumping spider. Well, I mean, it's a double dipper, but jumping spider for sure. I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
Very good point.
She started to just knock them out. All the ones that I was worried about. She's like, makes it past the double dipper, which was killing everybody else, through the jumping spider again, which even had her worried. And then she fell on Jeep Run where like nobody's falling. Almost nobody's falling. Like, oh
Dude.
No, I didn't even see that one coming.
That really sucked for me. I mean, really, I was almost about to give her the Athletically Profound Run of the Night. I mean, I was really impressed with what she was able to do. And it's something where it didn't really shock me because if you guys listen back, I've been hyping her up. She got really, really far last year in stage 1. And despite her size, she's always very, very powerful when it comes to everything with stage 1 and very fast, like good. And I felt like this year her pace was even more like good. She was just moving and moving and moving.
She was on pace. And she would had no problem, but she was certainly had the time going for her. She could have made it.
Yeah, she had a really good buffer, right? Like plenty of time. It's just one of those things where she lost the momentum, and with her height, when it comes to something like that, you have to have the momentum. It's just unfortunate. I don't really know what to say other than it's one of those things where it was just as frustrating to see as probably for her to experience, right? Well, let's be real, it's probably more for her. But right. I'm just saying, like, it was frustrating for the viewer too, and not in a way of like being frustrated at her, but just frustrating in the circumstances. And I really feel for her. She's a really awesome person. I got to meet her, like really, really down to earth, great person. And I don't know, she's so young, very athletic. I very much see very big things from her. And man, just keep traveling the world, training, living life. She's one of those people where I can see her on like an international version of American Ninja Warrior. An international version of Ninja Warrior, I should say.
Right.
And just like really shocking everybody.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch for sure. So that led us to some more fast forwards, including Rico Rivera, who cannot buy airtime for some reason, went out on Twist and Fly. David Campbell went out on Double Dipper, unfortunately.
No!
And
no!
Yeah.
It's like, he's my favorite. I'm sorry, y'all, but I always low-key am rooting for him so much.
Not so low-key. But anyway, then they showed Chris Wilczewski.
Super low-key.
I was so upset. So it's like Rico Rivera goes on Twist and Fly, David Campbell goes on Double Dipper, and then they show Chris Wilczewski. I'm like,
yeah, for
no.
real. They were setting us up, right?
This is his year. You can't have him go out early. And he didn't. He beat stage 1. Like, so happy.
Ooh. Like, at that point, I was so scared. I was like, I'll take it. I will take it. Because, as you, it was clear to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is how he falls. And they fast forward him. And this is how a season ends. Like the Cinderella story. But it keeps moving forward. Like, they got me, bro. Because at this point, like, everybody fast forward, they all fail at, like, a certain point, usually towards, like, the back end of the course. And I thought it was going to be the same, but he made it. And I don't know. I still see very big things coming from him. This could be his year. Let's just say that scared me.
And just as scary was they showed Najee Richardson next. And I was like, we're only, like, halfway through this episode. Why are you showing Najee now?
Hey, I'm glad like they're spreading all the ninjas out. I like that. But yeah, it was interesting, right? Halfway through.
I thought he was going to be the big finale here. I figured Drew would be, but Najee would be up there. Yeah, he's famous from Ninja now. He's doing some acting. He's just got everything Ninja needs, right? He's got the personality, the skill. He's just awesome in every way.
Yeah, I mean, he was in many ways the Matisse or whoever, like the big star of the past few years, just because he's charismatic, he's very fresh face. Like, let's be real, he's very, very attractive. Like I'm sure a lot of ladies are big fans, including my girlfriend. And like he just hits everything there. Plus, he's super, super good at when it comes to this sport. So in terms of like the people behind like production, I'm sure they took one look at him and they're like, oh, he made a stage 3. Yeah, put the boosters on that dude. And he owns it, you know? It's not a guy where he crumbles on the pressure, and that's all you can ask for. That said, if you're wondering why halfway through the episode, like in terms of like low key, he's basically running at the top of the hour for, you know, people that are just clicking the channel and everything. It's always at the top of the hour. You need a big star right in there. So, I mean, once again, it shows they are very much behind this guy.
Yeah. I was a little worried about the double dipper from him. We've seen some of the other gymnasts struggling, I guess, if you want to call it that, or just overshooting. So he made it through.
Yeah, it was a big story that you pointed out last episode, right? Double dipper, getting all of them.
Yeah. But no problems for him. He had a crazy good time going, and he pretty much earned his moniker. He flew to the top of that cargo net.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was dope. I mean, I don't know what to say. He's one of those people that does it very flawlessly and very efficiently.
Yep. So then we had a picture-in-picture of Mike Murray, 29-year-old rookie.
Okay, I don't want to be rude or anything. Like, all respect to Mike Murray, but I don't really know this guy. Like, does he have a story or something that we know him from?
Not that I know of.
Okay, because, like, this is not the type of person you want to put in the picture-in-picture, right? You need to have some connection to the runner. I understand, like, he makes it all the way, but there's multiple people they fast-forwarded that make it all the way. I was just curious, like, did I miss something with this guy? I don't know why I should have cared to watch it.
Yeah, I don't have anything on Mike Murray here that I can see. It seems weird for them to just skip him like that. Well, not skip him. The picture-in-picture doesn't really work for somebody we don't know, right? It's like kind of a weird consolation prize, I guess. But he did beat it, so maybe he'll get his time in stage 2. I mean, you got to give him credit for that. He made it through a very difficult course, and yeah, I gotta hope that him and somebody else, Jonathan Stevens, who we'll mention later, same thing, is like their rookies doing extremely well and not getting any airtime.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what do you think is like a bigger sense of like viewership, like people watching? Like, what would you prefer to be if you were an American Ninja Warrior? Would you want to be in a commercial break, like your full run shown, but in commercial, or would you rather be fast forwarded and have like highlights, but with, you know, some of the audio there?
I think as a rookie, I would rather be fast forwarded, but as a vet, I'd rather have the picture-in-picture.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel the same. You know, I feel like more people are going to watch the fast forwards just because people like have inclinations to, you know, hit fast forward if they have a DVR like during the commercials, even if there's, you know, picture in picture. But if you are a name, you know, I feel like a lot of people will stick around, and at least you are going to get to show off, like, you know, your physical prowess or your athletic prowess.
Yeah, I think if you're a known ninja and, you know, a bigger part of the community, people want to see how you did it and more specifics of your run. Whereas, you know, if you're new to the sport, you just kind of want to hear Matt and Akbar, really. You want to hear what they have to say about you, and a highlight would be better than just the silence of a commercial.
Yeah, for real. And, you know, shout out to everybody that gets fast forwarded. You know, that's pretty dope. That's pretty big.
Yes, that is huge. It is. But yeah, after Mike, we had some fast forwards, actually. We had Chris DeGangi, Lebrec's boyfriend, went out in the double dipper.
Oh, that's who it is. When you said DeGangi, I was like, I don't know who that is, but Lebrec's boyfriend. Okay. Good on him.
Yeah, that guy.
Or actually, not good on him. He failed. That's right.
Yeah, he failed
man,
on double dipper.
Yeah,
they usually
he's
the big
good.
storyline with them is that they usually fall at the same place, but in this case, he didn't make it as far as Jesse.
Yeah, well, you know.
We had two finishers also get fast forwarded: R.J. Roman and Zach Day. So
see, that was the thing. That was the thing I was thinking back to, because actually both of them have like big storylines this entire season. Like RJ, you know, he's that band dude that I was talking about, very charismatic, and I'm very happy for him. And Zach Day, you know, he's been featured like both times in the qualifiers. Like, this dude's got a lot of shine. Obviously, we're going to see a whole lot more of them. I understand why they're fast forwarded and everything, but I found it just curious of the fact that they're fast forwarded, and yet a dude we've never heard of is in the you know, the quiet spot. But hey, you gave good points of why it might be that way.
And then the one thing I was really looking forward to in this episode, we had the beard off between Brett
Yes.
Sims and Ryan Stratus.
Dude, I'm all about this, man. Bring up the stakes. I was all in. I was watching, like, fully glued. For me, like, I think we both said that Brett Sims was most likely going to get his beard trimmed off, but I don't know. I really like the way that they played this up and just made it really fun.
Yeah, the whole segment was funny. It kind of overplayed the same segment over and over a bit too much, but
Yeah.
I liked it. It was still pretty funny. It was cute. Brett ended up falling on the double dipper dismount. His left hand just missed the grip and he wasn't able to recover. So when you saw that, did you think Ryan was going to get further than that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I actually thought Ryan had a very good chance of completing the course, but the same could be said about Brett Sims. I could have seen them both completing stage one. I feel like Grace in particular, I think, was more happy than anybody else that Brett fell, just by the fact that, like, I don't know, there are some people or wives that, could do without the beard. And I gotta say, Brett actually pulls off, like, not having a beard pretty well. We'll talk about it later, but, like, I don't know. I think he looks pretty good without a beard. So good on him. He can rock it either way. But I don't know. I feel like he knew. As soon as he fell, he knew.
Yeah, I think so. I think he knew Ryan was going to get past that, and he did. Yeah, I agree. I think Brett looks better. And you know what? I think beards are a very handsome addition to most faces. I think Brett looks perfectly fine without one. So
yeah.
I don't think it does him any disservice at all. Whereas I think Ryan actually looks better with the beard, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. 100% agree.
So once Ryan beat the double dipper, Brett had to shave. So then, Brett could actually start cheering him on at that point. He ended up going off the wheel run. I'm sure he was cheering him on anyway, but he ended up going off the wheel run sideways and hit his shoulder on the pads, which is like, of all the people you want to see hit their shoulder, it is not Ryan, that's for sure.
Yeah, that scared me because he fell and I think he was still hurting. And I don't remember, he might have like called for help or something to get out of the water.
It seemed like it, didn't it?
Yeah, I was worried that he injured himself. It looked like he might have, but it might have just been like a little stinger. Like, he was, if you have injuries, that's the last thing you want to do. And it sounds like it might have just hurt him, but I don't necessarily think he actually injured himself. Right. I could be wrong. I mean, updates on Twitter, I'm sure we'll have it. But, I feel like they would have told us if he actually fully injured himself. And he looked fine later on when he was shaving Brett, so.
Yeah, they actually showed it. I had a feeling they weren't going to let us, they wouldn't leave that hanging. They had to show him do it right there.
Dude, so this was the thing, though. When they started showing him shaving Brett Sims, like, He started shaving the side of it, and then they cut away, and I was almost about to throw my TV out. I am like, y'all built it up just to show him shave like the side of his face. I was so mad. I'm like, you guys better come back and show off the finished product. I don't need like full minute of him shaving his beard, right? But y'all better pay this off with the full like baby face Brett Sims. Oh, I'm glad they paid that off, but man. Ooh, they're playing with my emotions there. I'm like, don't you do it. Don't you do it, ANW.
They didn't. They delivered. We got to see the full product, so good on them. I think they did a good segment with that. They didn't overplay it just enough on both ends, right? We get to see the little segment playing it up. We get to see the runs, and then we get to see the shave at the end. Yeah, front to back, a great segment.
I could see like kids loving this kind of stuff, So I'm all about it.
Moving on, we had Kenny Niumatallo running for a girl who needs a kidney, Liza, I believe her name was, and he's just been shining all season. So it was interesting to see, like, was he going to continue on in Vegas? Would he be able to keep up the pace and keep up the buzzers? And he just beat the double dipper. Ends up spitting on his hands for the jumping spider, and it was like, I have never, ever seen anyone do that, and I doubt we'll ever see it again. Like, it's just such a weird thing to do in the middle of the course.
It's weird, but, it does give a lot of traction in the case of a jumping spider and stuff, so I fully understand why he did that. It looked like he might have not injured himself, that's too strong of a word, but kind of tweaked his knee or something at some point. I'm trying to remember where, but I remember that was a big part of his run. And it did add some drama, and good on this guy. I mean, he was hurting and limping, and he persevered through really tough obstacles towards the end. I mean, he went up that warped wall while hurting. So all the props in the world. I mean, that must have been really hard. And I'm sure he's looking back at this, and even though he literally failed while looking at the buzzer, which I've already talked about is just the worst way to go, but I think he's going to look back and be very proud of himself.
Yeah, timing out at the top of the cargo net means it was just a few steps away, and it means he just needs to go a tiny bit faster next year and be all gravy.
Yeah, and props to everybody involved with when it comes to the entire storyline about, with the kids and everything. It's very easy to go, like, a little overboard, and play, like, the righteous card or blah, blah, blah. And they really did a fine job doing it. Like, they present it, they make it about the organization, they make it about the kids, they show these adorable two kids. I mean, like, you can't not but, like, feel for these kids that are sick, and I really hope they do find donors. I have a feeling they will, but who knows. And either way, I hope this leads to a lot of people, becoming donors. And yeah, props to everybody involved. It wasn't like overburdened. It wasn't like over the top where you're rolling your eyes. So big thumbs up.
Yeah. And even if it's not these specific kids, the fact that, we have this platform to hear more about kids like them who need a kidney, if it even inspires just a few people to go out, that's huge.
Yeah, it makes all the world of difference, saving lives. That's awesome.
Next to take the course was someone named Nicholas Coolridge.
Oh my God! Okay, let's go. Ding ding. Props to everyone. Everybody involved with this happening gets a 100% ding of congratulations or whatever. This was, like, I couldn't even believe my mind. Like, was this really happening? I had to pinch myself. How is this happening? Nicholas Coolridge, everyone, is on American Ninja Warrior, not only being shown with his run, but, of all things, also getting a vignette. What world are we in, bro?
I don't know. I assumed it was one where he had the fastest time by a minute or something. Like, there had to be some reason. Maybe he fell off the course and hurt himself in some horrible accident.
Maybe
I didn't know what was
he's
going
completing
on.
stage 4. That's the joke, right? It might be happening.
There's something up. So he got a segment living in a garage now, which is like a mansion compared to the van that he was in before.
Yeah, showing off how fun he is. I mean, this guy has such a huge Instagram following. Like, and you don't even have to show that. Show him doing the crazy stuff that he does with his girlfriend. I mean, they are super adorable in real life and everything. And I'm glad they at least show a little bit of that. I mean, this dude is so incredibly talented.
Yeah, I've never understood skipping him at all. Like, he's got so much talent. He's got a huge following, which they love, right? The social media followings.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets along with ninjas and does cool things with them. Like, we've seen him flipping around Barclay Stockett and things in these weird acro yoga things they're doing. And it's like, all of this is great material for the show. Why does it take so long to get this? But we have it now, so no more complaining.
Can't complain about this, man. And not only that, in my opinion, this was a very entertaining run, and not in the ways that you would expect, right? This guy's incredibly talented, so you expect it to be like flawless, and he's doing all these flips and all this stuff. This dude actually was kind of like I wouldn't say struggling is the word, but like he had some scares, and added the drama. It wasn't a clean run, but at the same time, it was still a very impressive run. It's like a beautiful madness or chaos.
You figured it out. Oh my God, you figured out exactly what it is. He needs to start making mistakes. He needs to start, missing the double dipper with one hand, but saving it, having his shoes fly off or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe this is what did it. He had a close call on the Jeep run tire. He seems to have hurt his
another
knee.
one where he kind of hurt himself, right?
Yeah,
the Jeep run.
And he was favoring his knee a bit at that point. Ended up low on the cargo net, but he did make it and had to climb up the whole crazy thing. I mean, just a great run. I was so excited. I didn't even know what to say.
Dude, I know what to say. Nicholas Coolridge, congratulations. You win the Athletically Profound Run of the Night. Super deserved, super awesome. I loved every second of this run. I enjoyed the vignette, but this run in particular. It had me screaming. It had me glued to the television. It had me cheering. I damn near almost cried because I was so damn happy of just the fact that I'm seeing him. I am like, this is what we want to see. And I am, everything involved with this was a big, big win. And I'm very excited to see how well he does because I don't know. When it comes to Nicholas Coolridge or Andy Lowe's, I mean, if they're getting this much shine, or at least Nicholas Coolridge is, it can only mean good things.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. Next, we had some fast forwards, including Jonathan Stevens hitting his third buzzer of the year and getting his third fast forward of the year.
Oh, man, I'm sorry, but you said Jonathan Stevens hitting the third buzzer. I'm like, who? And I feel bad. Like, hey, you can only highlight so many ninjas, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I hope he gets some shine in stage 2. Josh Salinas was fast forwarded, who also was able to beat stage 1. Great to see Iron Josh back again.
Yeah.
And then we had Meagan Martin, who they showed timing out for 3 different years in stage 1. So the question is, will she time out again? Nope, she did not time out. She actually ended up going out on the jumping spider, unfortunately. She just wasn't deep enough into the chute. I wish I could have been surprised by this run. Not to harp back on it again. But, it is what it is.
I really thought
unfortunately,
there was a
Megan
chance,
wasn't
man.
able to do it. Did you?
I really thought there was a chance. It's one of those things where they're hyping it up a lot, so I'm like, oh, I could see her timing out. But they got me in the fact that I didn't see her failing where she failed, I gotta say. And it is unfortunate because I'm pretty sure she has the record of being the first woman to complete the jumping spider. So the fact that she fails there.
Yeah. In the American version, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just, it's unfortunate, but it can happen to anyone. But I feel like it's one of those cases where she had a whole lot more to show. And hey, her time will come. I 100% believe we are eventually going to see her move on to stage 2. And actually, I feel like she has a much better shot than a lot of the other women when it comes to stage 2 and 3. I mean, when you look at her strengths, I mean, they're pretty well suited for the upper body obstacles in those stages. So I don't know. I'm excited to see her. That said, I mean, she's done so phenomenally well when it comes to Ninja versus Ninja, National Ninja League, any of these types of things that play pretty well to what stage 1 is. Sometimes, it just gets you. Also, Josh Salinas, he's been fast forwarded and everything, and I was saying who and all that, but looking back, I'm remembering this dude, and this guy actually, he's got a lot of experience when it comes to the circuit, like the leagues and such, and training gyms, and I don't know. I feel like he's not going to be like the last man standing, but I could see this dude making it to stage 3.
Right. That's Josh Salinas, no. But the one that I was saying they keep skipping is Jonathan Stevens, who was one just before him.
See, they're all mixing up. But yeah, Josh Salinas, I 100% could see him going far.
Yeah,
Jonathan Stevens, I have no idea who that is.
Exactly. I should mention, just for the old school ninja fans, Lucy Romberg, of course, was the first woman to do the jumping spider.
Whoa! Wow, shame on me. Shame bell for me, man. Yeah, of course. How did I forget that? Dude, Lucy Romberg's like the OG. Literally. So, yeah.
All right, so moving on here, we saw that Drew Dressel's run was coming up, and I have to say, I was a little nervous for him because they were not giving him a whole lot of love this episode. Like, normally they would be promoting the heck out of him.
I thought they were doing pretty well with him. Like, they can't hype him up to be like, the man of all man, or whatever, every episode. But I feel like they're like, hey, this is the guy you all know. Everybody feels like he's going to be, if it's not him, it's Joe Morosky. But those are like the two people at the very top of the sport. And what else can we say? Let's watch him kill it.
Yeah. But we had some fast forwards first. We had Drew Knopp, who was able to beat stage 1.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Stillings, who had a very
You want to talk
close
about
call.
getting no love this season? What's going on, man? Dude's awesome, and he keeps killing it. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. Did you see that close call he had on the jumping spider?
Ooh.
It was almost over very early there.
Yeah, he dropped like almost 1 or 2 feet, right, and just like caught himself. I mean, most people would fall right there. Good on him.
Yeah. And Hunter Gerard was also able to beat stage 1. So
Yeah,
some
we got to
big
see
names come through.
Kyle Soderman. I mean, it was kind of sad seeing him on the sideline cheering for his friend. But, we heard from Kyle that, Hunter Gerard, we see him. We know he's good. But, like, apparently he's much better than we're seeing from him, or at least how they're hyping him to be. So I feel like Stillings and Gerard and, even Knopp, or Knopp, I should say, I'm very curious to see how well they do in Stage 2. I kind of feel like they're just building up, just like last season, a whole lot of people falling on Stage 2, and maybe, like, 4 people making a Stage 3. Which I can't complain too much about.
Yeah. So they'll have 2 runs to go. Drew Drechsel takes the course.
Okay, so when he was taking the course, I was seriously racking my brain. I'm like, okay, so if he's not the last run, who in the world is the last run? I was seriously racking my brain like, who is left? Who in the world is left? And we'll get to it, but I was like, oh, okay. And for me, that spoiled it of like who was going to be the fastest run of the night. But Drew, for him not being the last run of the night, were you a little worried that he might not make it?
Yeah, 1,000%. Let me see my actual notes here. Has beat Stage 1 every year. Oh man, not a fan of this segment. I was seriously like, oh boy, this is not boding well at all.
It was a little bit of a buildup, right, for a failure.
A little bit, but he just steamrolled the course.
He was going so fast the cameras couldn't keep up with him. You notice that?
No, I missed that part.
Yeah, they're like every time it'd be like super far away because they couldn't keep up. But keep going.
Oh, maybe that's why they changed one of the angles there, because I hated the angle they did for him doing double dipper. That was the one obstacle they really should have, like, I had anxiety for, but they showed it from
super far away,
like from the top down, basically. So you can't tell where he's at. I wanted to see how he made it past, like, anyway, nitpicking. But, he just destroyed the course. He beat Kid's time by 8 seconds. He had 48.8 seconds left on the clock. And I thought, that's just demented. Like, no one can compete with that.
Yeah, because he was going at a pace that never stopped. I mean, he slowed down a little bit, I think, right after the warped wall. But that was like maybe like 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Like, he was going at such a crazy pace. And it was at a pace where at most ninjas we've seen, and it even built up like, oh, he's a little, apprehensive because he's seen so many people fall. And of course, this is all post-production, but still, it's kind of building up, right? But when he ran, it was almost like a sense of fearlessness. And once again, it's why he I don't say all the ninjas are scared of the course or anything, but it's just a completely different dynamic where he just doesn't show, I guess, the respect to the obstacles that they kind of like have earned. He's just like, no, I'm going to breeze right past you.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear his thoughts on all of that. When you listen to him in interviews and how he basically, he has a pattern. Like, he knows when he's going to go fast on certain obstacles. He knows when he's going to take his time. Like, he has it all kind of planned out before he even takes the course. Like, so that's why he wears the headphones. He doesn't like being distracted because people tell him to hurry up in his time. He knows his time and he knows when he should be going fast and when he shouldn't. So he doesn't like the distraction.
Yeah.
But after him, pretty much every single person in ANW Fantasy has Drew Drechsel on their team, except me. But you know who is on my team? Jake Murray.
You enjoying those extra points?
Oh, man. It's not the I mean, I just feel vindicated. I mean, I got Ethan Swanson. I got Jake Murray. I got them all. And the only thing that's killing me is Jesse Graff, who did not fail, who probably would have beat Stage 1, and I would have failed, but I would have been at the top of that list.
Yeah, don't worry. When it comes to Canada, Champ is not there. So, it's all good. But yeah, like Jake Murray, we were talking about him and how well he's been doing. But this is the comeback of all comebacks. I mean, this guy's got to be, I don't know if comeback runner of the year is a thing, but he's got to be right up there, man. I mean, what an amazing story this guy has.
We do have comeback story of the year, and he is on the very short list beyond that.
Yeah, well, Chesky's got to be another one. There's a few, and like, what can you say? This dude's owning it. He's so fun, incredible. Like, we gotta talk about that pace, but At first, I gotta say, it's like the hot dog. I didn't care for the hot dog or whatever, but it's become synonymous with him, right? Like, how'd you
Yes.
feel about this whole shoe thing at the beginning? It's like,
I
what is
couldn't
this?
love
I
that
couldn't
more.
care.
Oh, really?
It's one of those things where it's like, at this point, I understand it's me, right? I don't get it, but I was like, I'm sure people are loving it. So tell me, like, what is it about it that you're enjoying so much? That way I can understand.
Sure. So I mean, there's not a whole lot of depth to it, but I like the
just goofy.
idea of him not goofing around on the course, doing it before his run. Like when he came up in the Segway, I'm a little nervous about him messing around on the course too much.
Yeah. So you enjoy like the antics before and after the race or the run, and him 100% focused during.
Yeah, and I like the commitment. So talking about the comedy of that segment, I guess what I found funny is that they were both all in. It was not them smirking and like, huh, look how funny we are. They're both like their expressions are one of serious and like, this shoe, no, maybe this shoe, and like they played off each other quite well. I thought, a very
It's a goofy, fun segment, I guess, right?
yeah, just the bottom. At the end of the day, it was just fun, and I thought they played it well. It was funny.
It's not something where I hate it. I was just like, I don't get it. But that's just 30-year-old, curmudgeon man being like, these darn kids and their jokes, whatever.
I guess it wasn't like I wasn't dying laughing, but I giggled and I thought it was funny. It was fine.
I enjoyed the post-run antics more. I enjoyed that. But during the run, I gotta say, this dude was all in. I didn't think he was going. It didn't feel like a faster pace than Drew, just because Drew seemed like just a breakneck speed. But it was. It's one of those things where it's like Joe Moravsky, where you don't realize just how fast he's going through these things.
Yeah, that's a good comparison because that's kind of how I would feel about it too. Joe is always low key fast. Like you're like, how did he wait? His time was what? It's just efficiency of movement and pace through the course. Whereas Drew just shows, I don't even know what to call what Drew does, like poetry in motion. Like there's something about the way he moves through a course that makes you realize how fast and how great he is. Mm-hmm. And Jake just did it with pure efficiency.
It was fun, man. It was like to epitomize just how well it was and how like committed he was. He gets through that I forget the name, but the bounce obstacle towards the end, right? And he kind of just does like a small stumble, but he doesn't stop running. He stumbles and continues moving forward without even stopping to recollect himself, and jumps right onto the pad, onto the swinging final obstacle, which I'm just blanking on all their names. And he just keeps on going from there. Like, he never stops. And he's always smiling with it. He's always enjoying himself. And, if it wasn't for Nicholas Coolridge, this would be the run of the night for me. I mean, this was a very, very fun run.
Yeah, no complaints. I thought it was amazing. Super happy for him. Very nice guy. Deserves all the praise. And the thing to remember about him is he might move like he's a parkour guy, but he's a climber. You get him on a stage 3 and see what he can do.
See, that's the thing. I'm very curious to see how well he does, because we've seen in, National Ninja League and a lot of the other things that he's pretty damn well suited for stage 2. And I'm very curious to see how well he does if he makes it to stage 3. Very, very curious. I don't know. He moves like a parkour guy. He's super talented, upper body rock climber. He's got all the talent in the world. Super nice guy. Got the charisma. I mean, boy, you want to talk about somebody that they're going to put the jetpack on? I mean, he already gets all the airtime he wants, right? But man, if he becomes the last man standing, oh boy, you're about to see Jake Murray everywhere.
Yep, for sure. So that was it for the runs. We had 30 finishers. So
see, that shocks me, man. Like, it feels like the story of these past 2 episodes was everybody failing of the double dipper.
Right.
But it's like, if they get past the double dipper, a good majority of them passes, the entire stage. So it's like, that's the big, ninja killer. But I don't know. It surprised me. Similar to last year, we have, a very good large number in stage 2. I mean, we know Wingnuts are back in stage 2 this year, and that thing is just, it's like that giant shadow, right? That ominous thing. Very curious to see how well the ninjas have adjusted. I mean, we were talking about it last year, right, Rich? Where it's like, now they've trained for a year. Now they know what to expect. I'm sure they might change some things about it, but, we've seen, there's a lot of ninja gyms with wing nuts at this point. So, like, what do you think? Like, do you think the water obstacle is going to affect a lot of the ninjas? Like, or what do you think is going to be the story when it comes to stage 2?
I think the water obstacle will definitely trip them up because I don't imagine many of them were preparing for it. And I don't know. I haven't looked in detail at stage 2, like little clips and things like that. I just avoid it all. I want to see it next week. I want to see it with fresh eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty much shown. I mean, they showed it during the episode, so I hope I'm not spoiling you, Rich. But like right. the water obstacle does look like it's somewhat of like, a weighted door type thing, right?
I did notice
you go
that,
underneath and you lift up. And for me, I wish it could have been more like a jet stream, but at that point, it's just comparing, and you want to try to do new creative things. So at this point, it just looks like a weighted wall. So it's more of an obstacle that I guess narrows out the time, right? And I could see this being way better than just the wall flip. If this is like the equivalent of the wall flip, where you just have to get in there and take your time lifting it up, I mean, that's going to take a lot of time. And I can see it taking out a lot of competitors, not necessarily in terms of the difficulty of the obstacle, but in terms of just timing out a lot of competitors. So I actually am very curious to see how well it does. And I think it might play into the story of Stage 2 quite a bit. That said, I can see more ninjas completing Stage 2 this year. I'm willing to bet, I'd say 6 or more this year. And I don't know, I'm feeling good about Najee. I'm feeling good about, obviously, Drew Drechsel, Daniel Gill. I'm actually starting to feel very good about Nicholas Coolridge, of all people, and, Jake Murray also. So, I don't know, there's quite a few ninjas to keep an eye out for. It feels like we've lost, like, all of the favorites, but there's still a lot of ninjas still left.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of them.
I don't know, if you look at the stats of like the top 30 or the 30 moving on, there's a lot of young ninjas, man. A lot. Yeah,
I feel like they really showed up. I don't know that many of them stood out that much through the season. There's a couple, but not a lot. But they're really showing up in Vegas, which is a surprise, right? You figure that's where they're going to get intimidated. That's where they're going to be off their game, not prepared for all the things that can happen in Vegas, right? You get the explosions going off. You get the dry desert heat to contend with, and everything else that can go into it. But they're there, and they're right alongside the top ninjas and doing a great job.
Yeah. So who do you see? How do I say this? Well, first of all, do you see have any ninjas in mind that you see going to Stage 3?
Who do I see exactly? I mean, Drew, you got to figure is going to make it through. Daniel, I would highly suspect. I mean, it's all the top. I mean, it's a roll of the dice, right? Like, who's going to put it all together here? Like, I could just list off everybody in the top 30, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, let me ask you this. Do you see somebody making it to Stage 4 this year? Now we're going big time, right?
Yeah.
And if not, who do you see being the last man standing?
I'm going to say Daniel Gill makes a run at Stage 4.
Oh, that's a very good choice. Yeah. I low-key, I 100% believe Daniel Gill is going to make it, right? Just because, I mean, I even picked him in my fantasy league and everything. I 100% see him. But I don't know. A part of me really feels good about... I feel like Josh Levin, if he makes it past Stage 2, I see him completing Stage 3. I see him kind of like Caldiero, in the fact that it's the earlier stages that I fear for more than the later stages. And also Najee Richardson, I don't know, something about him. He always seems to impress more and more every year, kind of like Daniel Gill. So I don't know. If I have to just put a name down, 100%, just going all the way, I'm actually going to say Josh Levin. Let's do it. So Josh Levin, I'm saying, is going to make it all the way to Stage 4.
Do you think he's going to beat Stage 4?
Nah, I see whoever making it Stage 4 getting close, but I don't see them completing it. If somebody does, I mean, it's going to be big. I mean, it's one of those things, right? The day or the year that, Caldiero and Britain made it to stage 4 and beat that thing. I mean, I didn't feel like any of them were hyped up to completing it. So what do I know? But I don't know, something about it. I feel like this isn't the year that somebody's completing stage 4, but I do kind of feel like there's a good shot at this point, because I don't see them changing a whole lot up in stage 3 for ninjas to train for it and be prepared for stage 3.
Well, we'll know next week. It's coming up.
So exciting, man.
Quick shout out to the other competitors in the top 30 that we didn't mention, that as far as I can tell, Mike Myers in 19th.
Mike Myers, man. Dude's dope.
Yeah, and he's been skipped all season, like a real shame. Brian Burkhart in 21st, and Angel Rodriguez in 22nd.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. You wish there's somewhere you can fit them in. I feel like there are, being honest with you. But,
Stage 2, right? So that's the thing. So these are the finishers, right? So they're not through the season yet. They have not made it through completely skipped, but yeah, it's just weird that we didn't get something from them.
Yeah, they got to make, when it comes to 30 finishers at stage 1, I mean, I understand. You got to make concessions. I don't know. That said, I'm glad, at least they're getting love here and probably online also, props to them. For a lot of ninjas, it's not about necessarily being shown, but at least taking on that challenge, like personal goals. So I'm very glad for their success, at least individually.
Okay, so that is it for this week. Make sure you stay tuned. We have the Stage 5 Ninja Awards coming up in a couple of weeks. If you'd like to participate in that, if you'd like to make your own votes for People's Choice Awards for male and female ninjas, make sure you follow us on Twitter. That is @NinjaPodcast. On Instagram, I am also @NinjaPodcast, and you can email me at rich@ninjapodcast.com. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is BIJAN 151. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on who's going to make it the furthest this next episode. And also, once again, give some suggestions for the awards. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace and love, y'all.